Hello, everybody. Today it is a Three Musketeers session. Athos, Porthos, Aramis. Those are the Three Musketeers. I have with me Ankita Ganguly.
Hi.
And I have also with me Princey Jha.
Good evening.
Great. So today, dear friends, we are studying American literature. Oh, we have covered so much. British. Then we covered our post-colonial. Did we cover post-colonial? Yes. Okay. So I'm sharing my screen. Everybody must be waiting. Where is the American literature presentation? There you go. Day 12. Dozen days are over. Dear friends, फिर से बड़े questions. Choose the correct statement. In 1620, about 100 pilgrims left Jacobean England on a ship. They are going in a ship called Mayflower and reached the New World. Is it 1620? I think it is correct. They are the Pilgrim Fathers, isn't it? Yes. Anne Bradstreet was the first American to publish a book of poems. That is also right. The 10th Muse lately sprung up in America, something like that. In 1692-93, a series of trials and prosecutions of people took place in the name of witch hunting. Do you think that is right? Is it 1692-93? I think that is correct. Okay, so YouTubers, what do you think? Ankita, you can tell me. What is the answer?
All are true.
Yes.
All are true.
Ankita is saying all are true, and that is right. Look at Anne Bradstreet, the 10th muse, writing her poems. Beautiful. Princey, shall we move on? This first American was the one who established the University of Pennsylvania. You can see that university in front of you. The University of Pennsylvania. Who is this man? Is it George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams? Who started UPenn, University of Pennsylvania? George Washington to nahi tha. First American. Yeah. Princey knows the answer. She is nodding and shaking her head. Tell, Princey. I think she's right. Let us see whether she's right. It is indeed Benjamin Franklin. Hey, I have seen this man before. Pata hai kahan? In the $100 note of America. In the American $100 note, Benjamin Franklin's face is there. So, Ankita, here is the next one. Identify the wrongly matched pair. You two babies. Did Thomas Paine write The American Crisis? Did Royal Tyler write The Contrast? Did Phyllis Wheatley write Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl? Princey is saying, look, you can look at her head and you will know what is happening. James Fenimore Cooper, did he write Precaution? Okay, Princey, you tell the answer. Phyllis Wheatley did not write Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. Dekho, it is written by Harriet Jacobs. Harriet Jacobs wrote Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. Okay. Now, the metaphor of the transparent eyeball. देखो एक eyeball suit पहन के घूम रहा. The metaphor of the transparent eyeball was developed in which work? Is it Emerson's Nature, Thomas Paine's Common Sense, James Fenimore Cooper's Deer Slayer, or none of these? Ankita, your take.
The answer will be this was developed by Emerson in his work Nature.
Princey, when was it published? Do you know anything about it? 1836. Princey, you have not unmuted yourself. That's why we are not hearing. 1836. No problem. He talks about 4 uses of nature there. Anna, Emerson talks about 4 uses of nature.
Of nature. Okay. Yeah.
The metaphor was developed in this Nature, 1836. Which work of Thoreau illustrates the idea? The government is best that governs least. गवर्नमेंट का ये मतलब नहीं कि वो गवर्न करके हमें गुलाम कर देता है. Not like that. Government should govern least. People should have freedom. Where did he say this? Is it Walden? Paradise to be regained. Civil disobedience, or a plea for Captain John Brown? Do you know, Ankita?
The answer will be civil disobedience.
Ta-da-dang! Civil disobedience. He refused to pay a tax and he went to prison for a day. That is the occasion of civil disobedience. Yes. Civil disobedience by Henry David Thoreau. Okay. You furnish your parts towards eternity, great or small. You furnish your parts toward the soul. These are the closing lines of Walt Whitman's poem. Which poem? Songs of Myself. When lilacs last in the dooryard bloomed. Crossing Brooklyn Ferry, drum taps. Anybody knows? You two babies. Your turn. What is the answer, you two babies? They are saying different answers. Ankita, what do you think?
The answer will be crossing the Brooklyn Ferry.
Crossing Brooklyn Ferry. The actually is wrong. Princey, what do you think?
I think, ma'am, Ankita is telling right. Crossing Brooklyn Ferry is that. Crossing the
Yes, I think so too. Ting, 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 ting. Crossing Brooklyn Ferry is about, he's standing at the ferry, looking at the people waiting for the boats, and he's thinking, oh, this is like humanity. We are all sharing lots of joys and sorrows. And he's identifying even with the reader. Even the reader, he says, he can understand because we're all part of humanity. Isn't it? Beautiful. Who among the following is not a Brahmin poet? Hey guys, did you know T.S. Eliot also was from a Brahmin family? Boston Brahmins, they were called. Okay. Oliver Wendell Holmes, H.W. Longfellow, James Russell Lowell, Robert Frost. You two babies know the answer. Robert Frost to nahi ho sakta. That is wrong. Hey, Robert Frost is sitting in New England. He ran a farm there. Hey, Ankita, he looks like your grandfather. Not that I know your grandfather, but there is some resemblance. Robert Frost. Okay, Princey, Ankita, do you know the famous poems of Robert Frost?
Yeah. Stopping by woods in a snowy evening, birches, mending wall, the road not taken, fire and ice,
home burial.
Home burial, the death of the hired man. After apple picking.
Yes.
Abhi, bas, enough. Very good, very good. Lincoln said about whom? That this is the lady who started this great war. Is it Harriet Beecher Stowe, Harriet Jacobs, Harriet Wilson, or none of these? This is the lady who started the Great War by writing an anti-abolitionist novel. Which is that novel? Princey, which is that novel?
Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Uncle Tom's Cabin. And the author is who, Ankita?
The author is Harriet Beecher Stowe.
That is right. This is the lady that started the Great War. Okay, you two babies, next question is for you. Which work among the following is modeled on the utopian space of the transcendentalist Brook Farm community? Brook Farm community was the utopian socialist commune started by the transcendentalists. All right. And which of these works by Nathaniel Hawthorne, you see him sitting here, is written against this? Is it The House of the Seven Gables, The Blithedale Romance, The Marble Fawn, or Twice Told Tales? You two babies. Yes, it is Blithedale Romance. Blithedale Romance. Very good. Is it called Blithedale? I don't know. Dekho, it is about a farm, and our Margaret Fuller is presented in that novel as the character Zenobia. Anna? Yeah. In Moby Dick. Babre, itna bada. Look at the whale. Oh, thankfully it's a picture. Moby Dick, who is the fierce looking harpooner covered with tattoos? Is it Ishmael, Queequeg, Elia, or Starbuck? Hamara Starbucks hai na, coffee shop. They got their title from Starbuck of Moby Dick, I guess. Who? He is a Maori New Zealander. Hai na, Ankita?
Yes, yeah. Yeah. It's Queequeg.
Queequeg. Very good. Queequeg. Look at his face. Ugh. The Bell is an onomatopoeic poem by Walt Whitman. If it was novel, I knew Iris Murdoch. Onomatopoeic poem by Walt Whitman, Nathaniel Hawthorne, Edgar Allan Poe, or Herman Melville? Do you know, Princey?
Yes, ma'am. It's by Edgar Allan Poe.
Edgar Allan Poe wrote a lot of horrifying stories also, but Bell is another kind of a poem. He wrote short stories titled Tales of Grotesque and Arabesque. Can you name some of his short stories?
The Telltale Heart.
Yes. The Telltale Heart. Then?
The Cask of Amontillado, the Fall of the House of Usher.
Correct.
The Pit and the Pendulum.
The Oval Portrait. Very
The
good.
Oval Portrait.
You two babies, did you like the Three Musketeers telling you the answers? Here is Edgar Allan Poe. You two babies are saying the names of his poems also. Lenore, The Raven, Annabel Lee. Okay. Poe analyzes The Raven in one essay, showing how he writes poetry. He proves that the death of a beautiful woman is the most poetical topic in the world. Is it the American scholar, the philosophy of composition, the figure a poem makes, or none of these? You two babies and my Zoom babies, tell me, what is the answer? I will give you a clue. First word is the.
Second word is philosophy.
The philosophy of composition. The Philosophy of Composition by Edgar Allan Poe. Very good. Which among the following is not a poem by Emily Dickinson? Because I could not stop for death. My life closed twice before its close. I heard a fly buzz when I died. Or Live or Die. What do you think, Ankita?
I think Live or Die, it's not by Dickinson.
Then who wrote Live or Die?
It's by Anne Sexton. Anne Sexton.
Another woman poet, Anne Sexton. She was a confessional poet. Which among the following is not a poem by Emily Dickinson? Answer is Live or Die by Anne Sexton. Choose the correct statement about Mark Twain. His real name was Samuel Langhorne Clemens, and is considered the true father of American literature. Sachana. His first short story, The Celebrated Jumping Frog of Calaveras County, brought him national fame. The Prince and the Pauper was Mark Twain's first attempt at historical fiction. I think all are true. What do you think, you two babies? All are true, isn't it, Princey?
Yes, ma'am. I also think that all the options are true.
Very good. You said it. Ben, a successful businessman in Africa. And then he went to Alaska from Africa. Maybe he got money in Africa by illegal means. That is a character created by Arthur Miller in After the Fall, Death of a Salesman, The Crucible, or A View from the Bridge. You two babies. Ben, I will give you the clue. He's the brother of our protagonist. So, Ankita knows. She's smiling.
Death of a Salesman.
Right. Death of a Salesman. And the protagonist is Willy Loman, as we know. This is the iconic picture of this salesman going, his back turned to us. Which play among the following is set in a mental institution, focusing on the relationships of two couple, Leroy and Patricia Hamilton, married many years with 7 children. And there is also a childless couple there. Is it American Clock, The Last Yankee, The Man Who Had All the Luck? Ankita?
I think it will be The Last Yankee.
Is it, Ankita? By Arthur Miller? Wow, we didn't know that. Identify the correct pair. YouTubers. Tom Wingfield, is he from The Glass Menagerie? Mitch, is he from A Streetcar Named Desire? Big Daddy, is he from Cat on a Hot Tin Roof? Are all of these correct? Which of these is correct? I think I know the answer. They are all correct because Tom Wingfield is the protagonist in Glass Menagerie. Mitch is the person who feels a soft corner for Blanche in Streetcar Named Desire. Big Daddy and Big Mama, they are throwing a party, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Yes. And he has cancer. Correct. All of these are true about William Faulkner, except is the first novel Soldier's Pay? Was it based on his Royal Air Force experience? From 1929 to 32, he published Sound and the Fury, As I Lay Dying, Light in August, Sanctuary. Is it correct? His second period of literary activity was between 1936 and 42. At this time, he published Absalom, Absalom, The Unvanquished, Hamlet, and Go Down Moses. And he received the Nobel Prize in 1948. Ankita, you have to help us. My YouTube babies and me and my Princey baby, nobody knows this. Ankita, you say.
The last option is wrong. In 1948, T.S. Eliot had got the Nobel Prize.
Correct. Nobel Prize for T.S. Eliot came in 1948. Now I know. Do you remember when William Faulkner got Nobel Prize, Ankita?
He got the Nobel Prize in 1949.
Very good, Ankita. You said the correct thing. Thank you. Which among the following is a Southern Gothic novel by Faulkner set in Yoknapatawpha? Absalom, Absalom, Light in August, The Sound and the Fury, both A and B. Must be A and B. What do you think, Princey?
Yes, ma'am. It's both Absalom, Absalom and Lights in August.
Very good. Very good. Yes. Absalom, Absalom and Light in August. William Faulkner, they will ask, which is the novel by William Faulkner I'm talking about? Which is this novel? Which is this novel I'm talking about? Mosquito. William Faulkner wrote Mosquito. Which work among the following is not a part of Dust Bowl trilogy? In Dubious Battle, Cup of Gold, of Mice and Men, The Grapes of Wrath. Ankita?
A Cup of Gold was not a part of this trilogy.
In Dubious Battle, of Mice and Men, The Grapes of Wrath. These are Steinbeck's Dust Bowl trilogy. Very good. Which play among the following is set on a park bench in New York City? Zoo Story, Sandbox, American Dream, or Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? This play was originally titled Peter and Jerry. I think Princey can tell us.
Ma'am, it's The Zoo Story.
Yes, The Zoo Story. Harmonium is a book of poems by the American poet Wallace Stevens. His first book, he was 44 at that time. Is it true or false? It was published by Knopf in 1923 and it printed an edition of 1,500 copies. True must be, right? Let us check. Yes, it is true. Harmonium by Wallace Stevens. Mending Wall, The Death of the Hired Man, Home Burial, After Apple Picking. These poems can be found in which collection? Oh, is it a Boysville, north of Boston, New Hampshire, or Mountain Interval? I will say it is Mountain Interval. What do you say, Ankita?
I think it will be north of Boston.
Oh, I must be wrong then. Yes, it is north of Boston. North of Boston, remember guys, Mending Wall, Death of the Hired Man, Home Burial, After Apple Picking. Very major poems. Who was the first writer from the United States to receive the Nobel Prize in Literature? We know William Faulkner got in 1949. Who got the Nobel Prize in American Literature for the first time? Sinclair Lewis, William Carlos Williams, Elmer Rice. None of these. Princey?
Ma'am, it's Sinclair Lewis.
Sinclair Lewis is correct. He wrote Arrowsmith and Babbitt, I remember. Arrowsmith and Babbitt. Edith Wharton was the first woman to win the Pulitzer Prize. For which novel, Ankita? For which novel?
It will be The Age of Innocence.
Age of Innocence is correct. Age of Innocence is based on what?
Henry James's The Portrait of a Lady.
Correct. Hey, very good. The Age of Innocence. What is common to Stephen Crane, Theodore Dreiser, Jack London, Frank Norris? I know, they all smoked. All of them were born in the same year, maybe. All of them were practitioners of naturalism. Ore, that is the answer, I know. All of them wrote about American Civil War. No. All of them participated in World War. I know. It is the second one. All of them participated in naturalistic movement. Listen, Stephen Crane wrote The Red Badge of Courage. Theodore Dreiser wrote An American Tragedy. Jack London wrote The Call of the Wild. Remember? Great. The Open Boat is a famous short story by O. Henry, Stephen Crane, Mark Twain, or Edgar Allan Poe. Open Boat is similar to Life of Pi, isn't it? Princey?
Ma'am, it's Stephen Crane.
The guy who wrote Red Badge of Courage. Yes.
Correct.
Who is famous for his classic muck-raking novel, The Jungle? It's about the American meat packing industry. Theodore Dreiser, Jack London, Upton Sinclair, Sinclair Lewis. Ankita?
It will be Upton Sinclair.
Upton Sinclair, The Jungle. Very good. So, dear friends, I hope you loved our questions. We have given you a lot of authors and names. You should read extra. You should make your own notes and you will pass the exam. So, Ankita and Princey, thank you very much for telling us the answers. Ankita, Princey, say bye-bye to our friends.
Bye, everyone.